Hey Blues fans, glad you made it. Welcome to the next episode of This Week in the Blues. It's our weekly take on blues history. I'm your host, Jimbo Big Train Madsen, with the blues band Big Train and the Loco Motives. We're your favorite blues nerds. So let's take a look and see what happened this week in blues history. Blues piano player Detroit Jr. Williams was born October 26th in 1931. Born in Hays, Arkansas, as a child, Williams was moved around quite a bit, as his family relocated from Arkansas to Memphis, then to Pulaski, Illinois, and finally to Flint, Michigan, where Williams lived with his grandmother. He started his recording career in 1960, and over the next decade, recorded and released several singles and an LP. It was here that he earned the name Detroit Jr. Henry Mule Townsend was born way back in October 27, 1909. This blues singer, guitar player, and piano player was influenced by Roosevelt Sykes and Lonnie Johnson. He was a commanding musician, adept on both piano and guitar. During the 1920s and 1930s, Townsend was one of the musicians that helped make St. Louis one of the blues centers of America. Townsend arrived in St. Louis when he was around 10 years old, just before the 1920s began. By the end of the 20s, he had landed a record contract with Columbia, cutting several sides of an open-tuning slide guitar for the label. Blues guitar player and singer Sherman Robertson was born October 27, 1948, in Breaux Bridge, Louisiana. He's been described as one part Zydeco, one part swamp blues, one part electric blues, and one part classic rhythm and blues. Robertson was raised in Houston, Texas, and at the age of 13 got his first guitar. He lived close to the Duke recording studio and took the opportunity to get to know some of the musicians who recorded there. Later in life, Robertson's guitar work also appeared on Paul Simon's Graceland album. Chicago blues and soul guitarist L.V. Banks was born October 28th in 1932. Banks was born in Stringtown, Mississippi. He taught himself to play the guitar and fronted a blues band in Greenville, Mississippi. Banks moved to St. Louis, Missouri, before he was drafted into the U.S. Army. Now, after his duty was over in the early 1960s, he relocated to Chicago. He played on Maxwell Street and later was a regular fixture for over 3 decades at local clubs, particularly on the South Side. Banks' debut album, Let Me Be Your Teddy Bear, was released in June of 1998. The Queen of the Boogie, Hannah Brooks, was born October 29th in 1916. She sang at Hawaii's statehood ceremony in 1959 and was asked for a private audience by Pope Pius XII. Brooks preferred ballads to boogie-woogie, but she worked on her style by listening to Albert Ammons, Pete Johnson, Meade Lux Lewis, and many other boogie-woogie records. Her first recording, Swinging the Boogie, was a regional hit in 1945. She was inducted into the Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame in 1993. Fleetwood Mac founder Peter Green was born October 29th in 1946. The English blues guitar player first learned guitar at the age of 11 and soon mastered the instrument. In October 1965, Green had the opportunity to fill in for Eric Clapton in John Mayall and the Bluesbreakers for 4 gigs. Soon afterwards, Green became a full-time member of Mayall's band. In 1967, Green decided to leave the Bluesbreakers with Mick Fleetwood and John McVie, forming Fleetwood Mac. The blues classic Baby Please Don't Go was recorded by Delta blues musician Big Joe Williams on October 31st, 1935 in Chicago, Illinois. Many cover versions followed, and it's become one of the most played, arranged, and rearranged pieces in blues history. It features Williams on vocal and guitar, Dad Tracy on one-string fiddle, and Chasey Kokomo Collins on washboard. Blues singer Julia Lee was born October 31st 1902 in Boonville, Missouri. She's sometimes categorized as a dirty blues singer because of some of the lyrics of songs like King Size Papa and Snatch and Grab It and the Spin It song. Lee was raised in Kansas City, and her musical career began around 1920, singing and playing piano in her brother George Lee's band, which for a time also included Charlie Parker. Blues piano player Little Johnny Jones was born November 1st, 1924 in Jackson, Mississippi. In his 40 short years on earth, he established himself as one of the greatest piano players ever to hit the Chicago blues scene. Jones arrived in Chicago from Mississippi in 1946 with Little Walter and babyface Leroy Foster. Jones is best known for his rock-solid accompaniment to slide guitarist Elmore James. Jones joined Tampa Red's band in 1947. Blues and gospel legend Sippy Wallace was both born in 1898 and died 1986 on November 1st. She was born in 1898 and started performing in the 20s. Wallace kept performing and recording until her death. She was a major influence on a young Bonnie Raitt, who recorded several of Wallace's songs and performed live with her. Mississippi Hill Country blues singer and harmonica player Johnny Woods was born November 1st, 1917. His harmonica playing first gained attention in the 1960s when he was a duet partner with the guitar player and singer Mississippi Fred McDowell. They recorded a number of records together starting in 1967 for a variety of labels. The founder of Peacock Records, Don Roby, was born November 1st, 1903. As the eventual owner of Duke Records, he was responsible for developing the careers of many rhythm and blues artists in the 1950s and 60s. Artists included the likes of Big Mama Thornton, Bobby Blue Bland, Otis Rush, Junior Parker, and Clarence Gatemouth Brown. Well, blues fans, we just covered some of the highlights here. Now, if you want to know more about these artists or the many other things that happened this week in the blues, be sure to follow our social media pages or go visit our website at bigtrainblues.com. Now, we'll have a brand new episode next week, and we'll talk about blues legend Bonnie Raitt and blues singer and guitar player Delbert McClinton. It's going to be an awesome show, so we'll see you then.